What's up, everybody? It's your boy, the Italian Stallion, bringing you another episode of Rebels with a Cause, because the cause don't stop when the clock hits zero, baby. You know what time it is. It's Tuesday night, 9 o'clock, getting a little bit of a late start here, but nonetheless, we got an action-packed show, lots to bring you. Most importantly, we want to wish a happy 40th birthday to our guy, Shane O'Mac. We're going to bring him on. I hope that the chat box is hot tonight. Bring us your takes. Going to be talking some big news on the high school basketball team front. Let Two Pair talk about that. Also, we got a nice big pancake breakfast coming up this Saturday on Aubrey's at Papermill, 8 in the morning till 10. Hope to see everybody there. $5, guys. Come and just donate to the team and wish the guys good luck. Let's reminisce and converse and have some great camaraderie and great laughs this Saturday morning if you can make it. It'd be awesome just to wish the boys well as they continue their journey coming up and so forth. Most importantly, I want to start off by saying that always that the views and opinions of this program are not affiliated with those of any other organization or of West High School. This is the Rebels with a Cause crew's thoughts. Myself, Two Pair, Shane O'Mac. So again, we do not speak for the school. We speak for ourselves on anything to do with matters with sports or anything that we talk about on this show. I want to give a shout out to my gal, Miss Kim Castle, King's Chamber, coming up soon, getting closer to that open date. She always does my beard and my waxes and takes care of the little bit of hair I still got on top, but it's all good. We'll worry about that later. She is an awesome lady, and I can't shop open, and if you're looking for a place to get groomed and get the royal treatment, it's at King's Chamber there off of Washington Pike. And also got to give a shout out to our brother, another class of 2003 guy, Mr. Alex Thatcher, and his company, Knoxville Coffee Company, there at the heart of Marble City, there on Sutherland Avenue. They make a good brew, so definitely go check them out. Go try it. You won't be disappointed. It'll get you through them long days like today with all the rain and everything going on. That being said, before we get started and I bring on my co-host, I do want to also give a shout out to Dirty Dom on WWE Monday Night Raw. I don't know how he juggles 3 women, but more power to him. But I just thought that was really funny, this whole triangle with Rhea Ripley, who's recovering from injury, and now Liv Morgan. It's actually the only thing interesting right now to me that I find funny, and definitely watching Mondays rather than Fridays right now in WWE. We'll talk about that later. Also, we'll give you some predictions and thoughts on the Stanley Cup Finals and the NBA Finals, both getting started later this week. Should be great series on both sides of those sports, and we'll definitely give our thoughts and predictions on that. But without further ado, let's get this thing started, baby. Rebels with a Cause, 9 o'clock. That cause don't stop when the clock hits zero, baby. And my first co-host is all about a rebel with a cause. He is the Mr. 2003 West. He is the voice of the Rebels and Lady Rebels for 18 plus years. He's the hardest working guy, and you can catch him Wednesday nights at the Brickyard. I'm sure he'll tell you all about that. Without further ado, everywhere it's watching, whether it's live or recorded in Marble City, give it up for the unofficial spokesman of Marble City, the one, the only, the great Two-Pair Tate, Brian Tate. What is up, ladies and gentlemen?
Man, what's good, man? I love the introduction every time, man. I really do. The unofficial spokesman of Marble City.
Of Marble City, because here's the thing, I'll let those people vote or whatever. I'm sure you'd win in a landslide against whoever you went with or what have you, but you are, in my opinion, the unofficial spokesman of Marble City. So there we go. So,
man, I appreciate that. We moved from Mechanicsville to Sutherland Avenue in 98. And I lived there up until probably by the time I got to college. I think I moved out when I started college. I moved out. I was either 21 or 22 when I moved out. It's like 05, 06, around that time I moved out. And Marble City has always been a home to me, man. Like, My mom lived there up until 2015. She moved. Yeah, she moved in 2015. So she had been there since 98.
You know
So
what the
from
crazy
98 to
thing is?
2015.
Sutherland Avenue is unrecognizable from 1998 to now, let alone,
Oh
in
man, it
2005
doesn't
or
look, it's not the same.
2015. Crazy,
Not
man.
the same. It's not
Not
the
the
same,
same.
dude. Not
Yeah.
the same at all, bro. Like it looks totally different.
Yeah.
You know, I will say this has been a pretty like these past few days, like I had been trying to like define the right set of words to talk about this this coaching. I'm not gonna say it was firing. I'm gonna say like the way they suggested we say it is parting of ways
Hmm.
from each other. Do I agree with it? No, I don't agree with it. It didn't sit well with me because of the relationship I have with Auburn. I think Auburn is a fantastic motivator and a coach, and you really you really saw a change of the culture when he started coaching because it's not to say that Chris Kessler didn't do a good job. It was just that group, his last group, you could kind of tell like it just wasn't a good unit with him, and it just didn't work. Like I think Coach Kessler is a phenomenal coach. I think he's a great motivator, but you saw a drastic change when Gaporo was coaching from Kessler. Like Kessler had an immense set of talent. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like that group, Jawan
Yeah.
Mitchell, Jawan Williams,
Tukey.
Philip Tukey, Stanford, Otis Littlejohn, Jeremy Brown,
Calvin.
Devin Jackson, Calvin Walker,
The
Carson
milkman, Chris
Brooks,
Smith Jr. So,
Chris Smith Jr. You know,
yeah.
it was a ton of guys on the my man Fishback. I'm my bad, brother. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of guys all
Shout out to
13.
Carrie. Carrie, we're watching the show as
Yeah,
always. Love
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah,
guy.
yeah, yeah. Shout out to Curry. What's funny is I remember Curry was a security guard at a lot of my basketball games when I was growing up at West. So I've known Curry for years. Great guy. Um, but it just doesn't sit well with me because of the relationship I have with the coaches. You know what I mean? Like I've over these couple of years, me and Auburn have we've been good friends. You
Hmm.
know, and I just think the way this was handled because of not having a certain licensing for his teaching, but goes to a program where he achieves the masters and then still let go. It just didn't sit well with me at all,
Hmm.
and I think it could have been better handled because it's not a decision that's on the athletic director. The decision is on at the top, and I think we have an incredible faculty. I don't want to say anything bad towards the faculty. It's just a decision that I don't think was the right decision to make in the time frame that we're in. Like if
Hmm.
you wanted to make that decision, you should have did that right after the season.
I agree with that. I
You
agree
like
with that.
don't you know what I'm saying? Don't don't do this during the spring and summer because now you got to restart and establish that type of camaraderie with another coach.
Hmm.
It's like you guys were quick to pull the gun on the women's coach, quick to pull the gun, which should have
Hmm.
been done 2 years ago.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
It's
And
true.
then you go a whole
Two
you go
months. I mean,
almost two
yeah,
months,
two and a
3 months.
half months. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So,
Season's
because
been
the
over. Season's
season
been over since
ended what,
March,
mid-February, like late. No, sorry, late February. You're right, late February, and
late February,
literally,
early March.
so what? 3 months? 3 months actually, because March, April, and now May, and now it was done, right there at the end of May. So 3 months, literally. So yeah,
Hey,
right,
put it
right.
like this, Stout. Stallion, I didn't even know that we had a basketball banquet. Like I didn't even know that.
Hmm.
I wasn't even, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
how I announced for the team, I ain't even getting invited to the basketball banquet. Didn't
Yeah.
even know it was a basketball banquet.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I do have just a tad thing that can always be improved on, and I think that's something that in all facets can be is that the communication factor. Just don't assume somebody knows something. Like for example, my guy Kerry, he didn't even know that there was a pancake breakfast this Saturday at Aubrey's. You know what I mean? And they're getting it out there in social media, but if you don't live on social media, you really don't
You'll
know.
never know.
And somebody like Kerry who does like all his volunteers his time and does the scoreboard for the
Yeah.
home games and loves everything about West and supports West, like somebody like that should be front and center saying, hey man, we have a breakfast that we're having, and
Hmm.
obviously we want to contribute. I mean, it's just $5, so um I want to get into that more, but the one thing that I do want to do is I want to bring on our co-host who's joined the show as of late. He's joining the 40s Club. Of course, I started it
Welcome
on
to the
March
club.
13th. You continued the trend on the 24th, and so now we've got our guy Shane in a few days turning 40, but we're going to roast him and celebrate him now. So I hope anybody that's watching live or recorded gets their shots in. Of course, really, there's no shots to get in. He's as good of a dude as there is. So, but I want to give him a warm welcome as we wish him a happy birthday. He is our stats guy. He was a loyal watcher of every show, and I just said, you know what, man, come on. And he's a part of this program. He's a rebel with a cause. Great father, and hopefully he gets rewarded with a nice Father's Day coming up and so forth, because he is a father to wonderful children. And ladies, he is single, so definitely he can cook like the best of them as well. I've seen his stuff on Facebook, and me being a foodie, I know what's good food, and that guy can cook. But without further ado, let's bring him on, the birthday boy himself, birthday man, 40 years old, the one, the only, another class of 2003 West High graduate, Shane
83.
Shane O'Mac.
What's up, fellas? What's up? Thanks for the birthday love. I appreciate it.
Happy birthday, man.
Happy
Thank you. Thank
birthday.
you.
Happy birthday. Got to throw up that W,
Gotta
so
throw up the
always
W.
got to throw that W up, man. So for
But
sure.
you but more than anything though, with this coaching hire, um the dudes that I really think that should get a shot at, um I think Shane Reed should get consideration. I'm very high on Shane. I'm very high on Kalen Garner, who was an assistant coach for the Rebels, I want to say 3 years ago. So he's seen this group, he's watched this group, and he's even told this group that this is your turn. Um, and then another guy I would probably put in that same note, but he did get the job at the preparatory school. So I mean, I think he's wanting to build there, and not because he's my cousin, but I think he's a phenomenal coach. Is Jarrell Hayward, who's coming off that back to back with Fulton in that group. So you know what I'm saying. He had that group for 4 years and able to see two titles back to back is pretty tremendous. Given what he's done in his assistant coach under Jody Wright.
Mm.
So
Can I say something? And Shane, I want you to chime in on this too, because you unfortunately have kind of gone through this at a lower level, where you, after putting a lot of hard work and dedication, you were basically just told, hey, we're going a different direction. Thanks for your services, goodbye. And I want you to weigh in on that in a second. But to both of you guys, though, this is my opinion about the situation. Whoever the coaching hire is, I really hope that the boys give a chance, like just don't take your ball and go home. Because here's the thing, you're still at one of the best schools, not just in this area, in the state. Okay.
yeah,
So that's number
in the
one.
state.
Number two, I understand that you started your journey with this man, and I know that he wants what's best for you. And I hope that whoever is the hire, and I do trust the administration to make a good hire, I would hope, because this isn't just a job that you give to somebody off the street. Look no further than what happened with a Pat Murphy back in 2006 and
Man,
2007 that was just absolutely disgusting after Coach
that was
Petco stepped
horrible.
down. And
That was
so that
horrible.
I have never seen West basketball at such a lower point. And here's the thing. At that point, there were tons of athletes because football was starting to make their rise and a lot of
Yes, it
guys played
was.
both sports. But I don't want to even relive that nightmare from all those years ago. But what I'm saying is,
Mhm.
don't make a mistake like with Jeff Herrig, where you have a guy at another school and the guy sees, like it's not dollar signs, but he sees gold. And he's like, man, I've got all this talent and I'm going to come in there and I'm going to just try to fit a circle in a square peg. And then the program completely goes in a different direction. Not that we're coming off a state title, but we're coming off of a very, very successful season with a lot of wins, second place. Ball could have gone a different route in that overtime. That whole trajectory could have gone different. However, weather, lots of things, injuries derailed it. That being said, I don't want a coach from another school that maybe was good at that school, because when you come to West High School, it is
Mhm.
a melting pot, and that's a beautiful thing. You've got diverse kids. You've got kids from all different backgrounds. Okay, look at the three of us of
Absolutely.
where we all come from. You know what I mean? But we all became very close and stayed friends over the years. So my point is that it would be an injustice to the amount of talent in the senior, junior, and sophomore classes that you have, not even counting what you have coming up in the 8th grade program that's going to be freshmen and going to be your backbone of the years to come. But this coach that is hired has got to be able to relate to these kids in a way that not only makes them better men on the court, but off the court as well.
Hmm.
Your thoughts
Hmm.
on it? I'm done talking for now.
No, I'm right there with you on it, man. It's like you gotta find the right hire that's gonna get these guys to the level of what Auburn Caparo had them at. Because I think that snow really affected those guys, but I felt like what they were coming into when they came in the tryouts, it was very business like from the get go. And if they do this, let Eggleston coach them. Then let Eggleston do it. If you make that type of move, go ahead and just let Eggleston coach this group because he's around this group 24/7. Now I don't know if he wants to take that. That it's different when you move from a different seat. But I think he can. I think he can do a wonderful job. But like I said, I'm high on Shane Reed. I'm high on Caitlin Garner. It just really sucks the way this happens at this time. Like we're in June. We
It makes
shouldn't be talking about
no
hiring a
sense
new coach.
to make that move at this time of year.
Yeah, you don't
You
make
don't
that
make that
move,
move at
Shane.
the end of the season. You finish up the banquet and then you cut ties then. So then when he comes, whoever you get a new coach in place for the tryouts, like this makes zero sense.
Yeah,
Do they even have a banquet too, Pair?
that's what I'm saying. Like I didn't even know that we had a banquet. They had a banquet, didn't even know about it. And that's a first because they notified everyone last year about the banquet. And that kind of just was like, dang, I didn't even know we had a banquet. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
a lot of things with this season. And I'm not gonna lie, this was one of my more trying seasons of announcing, just from how bad the girls was, and I had to be as positive. I had to be a positive Pete every game when they stink. It just was a bad product.
Yeah.
The girl like I don't know what type of practice they were doing, but that is probably the last 2 years has been the worst women's basketball I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Like it got to the point where people are leaving to come back just to watch the boys play.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
they're
yeah.
they're
No, it
leaving
was.
and coming back.
I mean, the difference of the crowd, and let me just tell you this. You can't say that at other schools. Like at Farragut and Bearden, the
Yeah.
students were there for both games. Okay, you're paying for
Hmm.
both games, and literally it was like about 7 o'clock, that's when everybody was rolling in when the game was already decided. I mean, they had running
Right.
clocks almost every game, if not every game. And so
Yeah.
what's disappointing about that is I felt for the girls because there were some girls that had some talent out there, but they weren't
Definitely
being
were.
coached. They were looking for help and they weren't getting it. And it was like, that's horrible. Like, I just feel
Hmm.
bad for them because they deserved better than that, And
Absolutely.
I just know that the gravedigger, that's what I like to call him, the gravedigger, is going to make sure that that doesn't happen going forward. There's going to be some bumps, but
Yeah.
they ain't going to go and whatever like they did this past year. They'll win a few.
And I love what Cody Graves is doing on that women's side. Like he's gotten a lot of the former alumni back in the fold. I love what he's doing there. I love the fact that the dude is a phenomenal coach on the AAU level. Like
Mhm.
you see these teams that he's coaching, and you're looking at the way they play, and they're fundamentally sound just from what I've watched on tape and what I've been able to see. I feel like that I feel like the women's program is going to be building the foundation. I feel like
Mhm.
we're starting a whole new culture, a whole new foundation for what they're trying to do. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
just the boys, it just was a total death blow when you don't have this guy's won 6 state titles in Florida. Like he's a championship winning coach.
Mhm.
If this was such a problem with a teacher licensing or what he needed to do, why did you hire him in the first place?
Mhm.
If that was the problem,
Yeah. I mean,
because
yeah, yeah,
it
you
makes
keep
no
talking.
sense.
Yeah, it doesn't. Like, I mean, I guess the only thing that I could think about is that, because of the history and the said 6 state titles, did you think that you were going to hit lightning in a bottle that quick? I mean, it happens occasionally, but from where the program was at the end of the teens, as I like to call them, or what have you,
At the end of Kessler's
Kessler, it
regime,
wasn't anywhere near where it was when the beginning of the teens started with Kessler, or the
yeah,
tens, I should say. So
because
yeah,
you notice the drop off.
yeah,
There was a big drop off right around 2018.
oh yeah,
Like that 2018, that was a that 2018 to 2019. That was that was some tough basketball for West. And they recovered once Caporo got the job. Like when Caporo got the job, you saw um Pastrama come in, who was phenomenal. You saw Ephraim, who came in. Like there were players that he got that were really, really good ball players, man. Like
mhm,
it just like you got to see what Dane was growing into. You know what I'm saying? You
mhm,
got to see it
yeah.
firsthand.
Shane, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
I going back to you, half the reason, you got to really be a part of us, and I hated that it had to come to this is when you were, kind of just shown the door, for a lack of a better
Yeah.
word, and so forth. I mean, how do you feel with that? Like, how do you deal with that as a coach? Because of the fact I know you had unfinished business, and you've watched these kids grow. You
Yeah.
shouted out a bunch of people in graduation episode 2 weeks ago. So, what goes through your mind when there is that parting of a ways, and you have a contender? I mean, it's like I just would have wished that they would have let him finish the story. Look, if it fails next year, then okay, fine, go a different route. But I just think
Yeah,
that you
that's
have
what I was
something
with.
here. Yeah, I just think that I think you cut the cord a tad too
Yeah.
early.
Like in my case, my numbers were low, and it's hard to get kids to play football at an early age. You start seeing it more in the middle school. That's why because the parents are worried about concussion, CTE, all that stuff. But it's a weird feeling because you've dedicated so much time, effort, you become invested in all these kids' lives, and then you're just like, hey, well, thanks for everything you did. We're done. and it's hard. Like I'm glad I'm coaching again, but I'm having to build relationships with a whole new group of kids I don't even know, and I don't know how they function. I don't know how they act. I don't know how to. I can coach any kid, but every kid's different, and it's a learning curve.
Yep.
Because the way I coach my kids, I can't coach this group of kids because I don't know these kids that well. I can't get into them like I got into my own group of kids. I don't know how to challenge this group, and it's a whole rebuilding process. Like you gotta earn the kids' trust. You want to make sure that they understand what you're doing. And you know what you're doing, and it's just it's not an easy transition.
Yeah.
And
No, it's not.
I've seen a lot in the youth side. That a lot of guys just care about their ego.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you right now, how many people care about how many youth championships a coach wins? I don't give a damn.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to make the players better.
Yeah, I want these kids to develop and understand the game to the best of their ability and guide them along the way, not just, I'm bringing in this stud kid and this stud kid and this stud kid.
Yep.
Okay, you can bring in 15 stud kids. Well, those kids aren't coachable.
Yeah.
Mm.
And if they don't respect you, it's done. It's done. Like if you don't follow through with what you're I mean, listen, we've seen many coaches, we played under them, that talked a big game, but they didn't walk the game. Okay. And so right there, if you lose credibility off the bat, it's done. It's over.
Like it took a couple seasons. Like my group that just graduated this year, it took a couple of years, for them to respect me as a coach, and I became one of their favorite coaches. But it's because I knew how to challenge those kids. I built that relationship with those kids. Like I love those kids. Like they called me up right now, hey coach, can you do something for me? I'm there for them. Like I love those kids like they're my own.
Yeah. I just think from a standpoint too, Pair, where I get saddened is we said this at the end of this past basketball season. It's going to be that season of what if, it could have gone a different way.
Totally was a what if season. Totally.
Never in a million years would I think we'd be having this discussion that we'll never know. Like, it's not even what if, it's we'll never know.
What blows my mind,
the hell?
What blows my mind is the amount of time they took to get rid of the girls' coach when the product was already there.
Yeah.
And then this just comes out of nowhere. You're like, what? Like, we were just talking the week before it happened, like how great this team's going to be, how great the coach is, and everything's going to go on with the team this year and what the standards should be. And then, boom.
Yeah. You get bombarded. You get bombarded with this. And the thing that gets me is if you were pressuring this man to get this licensing, then he should have never gotten the job in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
If that was one of the reasons of getting the job. That's why it didn't make sense to me the way he was let go. And I talked to Coach Caporo, and he's at peace with it. And, he has no hard feelings. He's actually going to be present at some of the games this year.
I hope he is. I hope he is.
Because he wants to see kind of what he helped build, and I just think it's just a very bad decision on Wes. I've had time to kind of come up with the right words to say, but when it's not an athletic department decision, it's like, then when you look at the hiring of said coach, wasn't that supposed to be in place for his hiring? Because if that was the case, he shouldn't have gotten the job. No. Because we prolonged this way too long for a man to get a licensing or a certification.
Yeah, like the school should have known what their route was going to be earlier in the season.
I'm just also going to say this shout out to everybody watching right now. We got a few viewers, and please do not be afraid to comment on this.
Yeah,
You know,
please
this
comment
chat
as
box.
much as you want.
You know, like I said, man, this is all family right here. This is Rebels with a Cause. You know, whether you agree with it or disagree with it, everybody's entitled to their opinion. You know, I guess from a standpoint is that I only had one issue with Gaporo all season long. When he picked up the technical in the Bearden game, I said my piece with it and so forth. But I really believe that based on what you reported at the tryout, two pair, that I think he knew that he made a mistake. He was wanting to redeem himself. That's why that
Yep.
tryout was all business. That's why you saw what you saw and so forth. And
Yeah.
what ended up happening was we will never get the opportunity to see what he would do with these young men. Now, however,
he
um,
actually talked about that technical, and he even said he brought the onus on him, saying, "I cost us a bid at regional, I cost us a bid at state," and he's saying that to these group of guys during the practice, during the tryouts, to where it's like, okay, if the coach is taking the onus on him, he's wanting you guys to do the same thing for next year. And that's why I said it was a very business like approach to everything in the game. Like it was a business like approach. When I went in there and I'm sending you the videos of what they're doing,
I got chills.
and I'm like, they're trying to catch up with football because football has set the standard so high that basketball is now the afterthought. And it used to be the point where West was a basketball school because of the one district title, the only district title. And West has had better teams than that team to win the district. Because we've won a region.
The 2012s won a region. So yes,
we
absolutely.
won a region.
And
so
we had a state semifinalist team that just happened to be in the same damn district as one of the best Bearden teams that should have won state. I mean, you talk about Mark Blevins, you know, he had some amazing teams, but it wasn't even him that ever got Bearden their first basketball title. It was Parrott that got it for him, you know. That's the crazy thing. Like, you know, and
that's
Blevins had stacked damn teams. So
Blevins Blevins built that program.
Yeah.
Blevins built that program, and he was a phenomenal coach. It's just really sad what the basketball program is enduring right now. I think they should have a head coach within the next few days or the next week. Who knows? But yeah, man, I'm glad that I got to talk to coach, and he's at peace with it, and he definitely wants to show love to all of us. And you know, he's caught the show a few times that I've shared it, and you know, it really sucks because this group, man, like this senior class, if they do, I would just say, man, like let them at least finish out the year with this group, like just please, because it just bad, man.
Well, really and you know what my message to the seniors are: stick together. Stick together. Do this for you guys. You know, I mean, realistically, if it is Eggleston and, you know, they can finish the story, that'd be great. I don't even know if he's qualified for the job. Two pair, I'm not even going to pretend to know what the coach's name that coaches the majority of these guys that play AAU together. Would he be an option, perhaps? Because it seems there might be some camaraderie there. But again, if this has to do with the qualifications and a possible licensure or things like that, is he even qualified to take the job? You know, that's what I just don't know. So.
I pose this question. I know there's coaches in Knox County that are not faculty members of the school.
More and more you're seeing that, by the way.
So
and it's like I'm seeing
why is it now a requirement for the basketball coach when I know there's coaches elsewhere around the league around the county and state that are non-faculty members of the school.
Mm-hmm.
All you have to do is get approval from the county.
Yeah, you have to pass a
Mm-hmm.
background, obviously. No
Yeah.
thing. No
Because
problems.
a couple of years ago, I was asked to coach on the high school team for the freshman team, and just my schedule wouldn't work with it. But I don't have a teaching degree,
Yeah.
but I can pass a background check, and I've been a non-faculty member.
Well, and I'm going to tell you this, by the way, there are some dudes, and listen, I'm going to give a shout out to him. Kevin Lane, who's now the head coach at Central, he got passed up for a couple of jobs because of the whole licensure thing. And, I think that he's gotten that done now. And now he's the head guy at Central. And I wish him the best of luck in every game except for the one he plays us every year. But,
Oh, love Kevin. Love Kevin. Love
but
Kevin.
shout out to my guy, Kevin Lane, and his beautiful wife, Nicole Johnson Lane,
Nicole
and their
Johnson.
beautiful son.
Johnson
So,
Lane,
yeah.
yeah.
But seriously, though, I just think that the rules are changing because realistically, it don't pay nothing. It doesn't. I mean, great for the Knox County teachers that they got a very well-deserved raise across the board and are finally in a
Mm-hmm.
competitive notion. But at the same time, the time that you have to put in to coach these teams and that
Mm-hmm.
stipend ain't worth it. It just ain't.
It ain't.
And
It may be $2,000, I think.
yeah. I mean, it's nothing. And then here's the thing: you got to divide that over 12 months. So
Yep.
think about that with taxes and everything else. So, but my point is that realistically, whoever does get this job is going to have to start with a culture change. And look, Lamar didn't walk right in there. I mean, here's the thing. When Lamar took the job, West was 2 seasons removed from a state championship. And a lot of the people that you had in the pipeline weren't there anymore. And so he had to establish something completely new. Thank God him and Coach Shavers really had a good understanding, and it took a minute. I mean, you look at his record, he's 75-20, but the majority of that 20 was those first 2 seasons. But even in those first 2 seasons, you could tell there was hope. There was something
hope.
there. There was something
Because
there.
they played with a certain level of toughness that you
Yes.
knew was going to be built from the inside out. And the reason why West has remained that way is because of guys like you, James, who put in their time, guys like Kerry, the coaching staff, the alumni that has come back in the fold. And that's the reason why, is because it started from the bottom. It started with the foundation. You build that program on a solid foundation, you got a program that's going to stay there and be a successful program. When you take away a vital piece of that program for a coach who is really one of the better coaches in Knox County, just because of the basketball camps these guys went to, his involvement with the University of Tennessee and Coach Barnes and that relationship. And then you look at how many guys have gotten offered during the spring. Look how many offers Devin Martin has. Look how many offers Kevin Jack has. You know what I'm saying? Like, those guys have offers right now.
Shout out to Devin too. He's going to a basketball camp. Shout out to all the Rebels that are going to these camps right now to get better. Elijah Garner going to a couple of football camps, UT and Eastern Kentucky, respectively. Want to give him a shout out. I saw Riley Mannon went to a camp this past weekend, as did Antoine, the great Antoine Burdine. I mean, I'm just saying that, you guys just keep going to these camps and get better. When you listen, iron sharpens iron. You're already going up against your brothers or whatever, but now you get to see what is out there, just out there from the other schools, from the other states and so forth. And you get to see what you need to work on. And this is the time to do it. I mean, guys, right now, they just finished day 2 of week 2. And, I'm working out every morning with them. I'm running, I'm throwing up weights, I'm hitting the bag. And so I'm challenging them that, why are you doing this? Because you have to, or because you want to? You know what? I'm wanting to do it, not because I have to. I want to get better. That's the thing. And they need to get better. Go for it.
So check this out. You guys remember the quarterback from Gibbs that was making plays for them? Do you remember him?
During the spring game or what have you?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Funny story. That kid is from Alabama. And do you know how many schools have been trying to get the Axton kid? His last name is Axton. I got to meet him Sunday before he went to go throw at UT. He went to go throw at UT on Sunday. Dude, I went back and looked at those highlights, and he didn't have any guys with him. I would have loved to see this kid if we could have got him at West. Oh my God! Like, as much as I love, don't get me wrong, I love Elijah Garner. I think Elijah Garner is going to be the guy. But this Axton kid is nice too, and I think this dude, we're going to be talking about him a lot at Gibbs. He is going to be a problem. But let me say this: Elijah Garner, from what I saw from the camps this week and from Twitter, I ain't gonna lie, this dude, he's gonna be a college quarterback. Like, if he does not get the starting job come Bearden High School game, West is not going. They're not winning 3 in a row if he's not the quarterback.
Yeah, and I mean, I know that there's a deep competition there amongst a lot of guys and so forth, and you know what I just say is, may the best man win. You know, that's
He's
what
the
I
guy.
always say.
He's the guy, Stallion. He's the guy.
Yeah,
Like, from what we saw, this is no disrespect to the quarterbacks. Garner has the ability to, if the play breaks down, he can make a play. He's not throwing the ball crazy and throwing it in coverage. He makes the necessary play.
Yeah, like I said, I was impressed with what I saw on all of these camps and what he posted on Twitter, and shout out to him, and that's what I'm talking about, just getting better, just going to just doing this stuff, and you know, throwing with teammates when you know, like, I don't know how much time the coaches are really allowed. Shane, maybe you can answer that for me in the mornings with the workouts, but you know, when the coaches are gone, that field is still there. There is a football that you could bring and hint, get your timing down and what you put into it on your own. If you really want another ring,
You
if
are
you want
allowed
another
to
gold
do
ball.
whatever you need to do up until July or end of June. Even then, afterwards, you can do whatever you want to do. But then you can just not be around your coach for 2 weeks.
That's right. That's right. But by the way, I'm just going to say something right now. The biggest enemy right now is Belfour. Where is my ring? I mean, my middle finger right now is really lonely, and he's not next to his brother right here. And the next season's about to start. Belfour, get on it, man. Where are our rings, man?
It's not like we're still dealing with COVID and have.
I mean, my goodness. I mean, that ring maker needs to get going or whatever like that, because, I mean, our seniors that were really wanting to show those off or whatever, they're already getting ready for college ball. I saw Ryan Scott moving into dorms or something like that. Shout out to Ryan Scott, baby. So, yeah, I mean, shoot. Where are our rings, man? Where are they at, Belfour? You know what? I might have to show up to Belfour and be like, open up and give me my ring. Get me my guys' rings. Come on. I'll deliver them myself, door to door. Just get them to us. Come on.
And speaking of Ryan Scott, how about the male athlete of the year, Wes?
Oh, this right here, man. That's why, listen, when we have these discussions in the coming weeks of all-time players at different positions, teams, yada, yada, that guy I will defend. And yes, there were other players in different eras, but that guy was a game changer, and he just played with a lot of heart. He was like a very intelligent quarterback on the defensive side of the ball. And to quote X-Men, instead of Gambit, UT fans, remember the name, Ryan Scott. Remember the name. That's all I got to say about that, because he will make an impact. I think he'll make just as much of an impact on the field as a walk-on and earn himself a scholarship than Nick and Shane Revesz did back in the day.
Oh wow.
And
Wow,
I'm
that's
I'm
high,
name
man.
dropping from Farragut and their father Fod, who was kicker at UT and a kicker for the Miami Dolphins. Thank you.
I thought was it Shane that got to play a lot at
Nick
linebacker?
played a lot more. Shane
Nick
played
played a lot
special
more.
teams, but they still played. They still
did.
were on UT.
Shout out to my cousin for being a walk on UT back in the day, Austin Bowling.
There you go.
Funny story on him. He was number 45 along with AJ Johnson. And the first time he went with the peace package, AJ scores a touchdown, but they throw up my cousin's name in the stats because he was the offensive fullback. So my mom was freaking out. She's like, Austin scored a touchdown. And I'm sitting there like, Mom, none of us in the family have dreads.
It'd be pretty cool if you did. So there you go. Wow. That's funny. That's funny.
Crazy.
Well, and you know what? I saw that there were so many numbers for West. I mean, you had a couple of guys that were a number 2 that played offense and played defense, which is going to be very interesting come special teams, because sometimes they have to put that special jersey on you, so that way there can't be 2 numbers of the same on the field at the same time. That's the thing. So,
Right.
Yeah. So that's going to be interesting, come football season. Speaking of football, we got to throw this out there.
Sure. We're talking a lot of football.
A lot of football. 8:00 Saturday morning. I want to see every Rebel fan that is in town there for a nice pancake breakfast. It's $5. You can't even go to McDonald's and get a value meal for $5 anymore, man. And here you're actually going to get pancakes, eggs, and bacon, and a glass of juice or whatever you want to drink that they have available there, served by the players, cooked by the players and their dads. I mean, it's a great time. Mom's collecting the money up front. It is a familial affair, and I really believe is the official kickoff to the season. And you need to be there between 8 and 10 whenever you can make it. If you haven't gotten a ticket yet from a player, you can get them right at the door. You can make a donation, get in there, and let's have some great camaraderie, great talk, and wish these young men a successful, wonderful season this Saturday at the Aubrey's on Papermill between 8 and 10, $5. Show up for the Rebel football team as in their quest for a three-peat. Got to give that plug. Tonight.
Got to get that plug in. Nice plug. We're going to plug it up some more, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Look at that great after the birthday bash.
It would be nice. So, yeah.
Oh, shout out to my daughter for calling me yesterday. Like, Dad, what type of cake do you want for Friday? So,
what did you pick? What'd you pick?
So my go-to cake is marble cake with cream cheese icing.
Ooh, nice. Do you know what?
My daughter makes it every year.
Do you know what I always end up with for whatever reason? I like red velvet. I don't know why, but I like red velvet cake.
I like
red velvet guy.
Yeah.
I'm a red velvet guy.
Yeah. But I'll never turn down a carrot cake either. I mean, I don't mind a good, nice carrot cake that has some that's not sour, but more of a got a sweet taste to it, almost, and so forth like that. So, because my dad likes that one, that's my dad's thing. So, yeah. But
shout out to Papa J.
The original stallion, the seasoned Italian stallion, as my mama calls him. So, yeah. Yeah.
Shout out to your pops, man.
Yeah, shout out to my daddy. So
dude's a legend.
Yeah, we actually saw a couple of movies in the last month. We saw the Furiosa Mad Max saga movie. That was pretty tight, and we loved the new Planet of the Apes movie too. That was pretty awesome. So we got to see a couple of movies together. It was awesome. So, we went to the Tinsel Town over there in Oak Ridge with the reclining seats, and we went on a Wednesday and a Saturday respectively, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun. So yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Did you know you can rent Tinseltown out?
What now? Yeah, I heard that. You can have a party there and so forth like that. Yeah, you can.
My ex-girlfriend, her family, we used to rent it out. So we rented it out for Space Jam and the Kong vs. Godzilla movie.
Nice.
There were like 20 of us. We had the whole theater to ourselves.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It's a great theater. It's a great theater. I mean, it's not the pizzazz of Cinnabar, but it definitely does the trick. And you still got those great seats, and they're heated too. You can press the button if you want a heated
I
seat.
love the reclining heated seats there.
Oh, absolutely.
Don't get snacks delivered to you, but man, those were some comfy movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I rented out. It was like $200 for 20 of us.
Hey, you know what? Shout out though. Can I tell you this? I want to shout out to Funscape back in the day when we were teens or whatever like that. Man, I love me some Funscape, man. How did it fail? How did it fail? Is what I'm asking.
Hold on. Teen night. Funscape Friday nights.
We're getting serious. We're getting serious. The cages. The cages.
Ooh, those walls can talk.
Anytime a rebel gives a sideways look, and he hits you with that.
Yo, all I'm saying is
the two-pair spring break smile.
You look up, man. Those all three stories.
All three stories. What happened? How did that fail? I want like a dissertation on it, honestly.
Hold on. Now think about this. If the high school kids now.
Oh.
No, I got high scores.
Because he can't think of it.
Because I know what I was doing in there.
Yeah.
15, 16.
Hold on. Check this out. Social media.
Oh.
You have social media. You got social media. You have cell phones in this era. And you're going to tell me you have a teen night at the mall. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, can I also throw this out there? That's what people fail to realize is that maybe you had somebody in your group that had a cell phone, and then it was like, oh, hey, can I borrow it to call my mom to pick me up, or if you weren't driving, you know what I mean, type of thing. And there wasn't even texting then. That's what people fail to realize. Now, I mean, shoot, you can, look at this guy in a fight happening, and you just film it or whatever like that. It's nuts to me. It really is.
It's crazy because I didn't start texting on a phone until like
05?
05?
Yeah, 05. 05 is when that started.
I was
05, 04.
I was living in California. I was able to start texting.
05.
I want to say it was 05. I want to say texting was like an 05 thing.
I think it's when I got back off my first deployment.
Texting definitely was like 05, 06.
Yeah. I don't know if I've mentioned to you guys, but I'm trying to get my novel published, one of the first novels, and I'm hoping to have it done by the end of the month, but work has been kicking my butt. I'm editing it right now and hopefully going to get it published on Amazon. It's called The Chronicles of Larini, Part 4, Forbidden Love and Passion. Anyway, long story short, shameless plug. But realistically, I had a friend of mine that was reading the story as a preview just to see if it was worth even publishing. And she asked me flat out, she said, why didn't they just text each other? And I said, because you got to think that was 2003 when this story took place. There was no texting. And then they stopped and were like, you're being really historically accurate. I said, absolutely, I'm being historically accurate. So this isn't some parallel universe or anything
I
like
was
that.
rolling around with the Cricket Nokia phone back in 2003.
I had a Cricket. You could only make local calls. That's it. So, yep.
Man, that's wild, bro.
But I was just thinking about Cinnabar and like when I walk in there, it's like, yep, I remember that. That was there. And it brings a tear to my eye. I hate to say it. I hate to be nostalgic 25 years after the fact.
Dude.
I'm sitting here reminiscing on those teen nights in Funscape.
Oh, God, yeah.
Dude.
I'll say, I walked out of there very happy a few times, and my mom would see the look on my face. When she picked me up before I started driving, she's like, what did you do?
But think about this, though. Like, this is before Cotton Eye Joe. Like,
Cotton Eye Joe had teen night also. It was on
Cotton
Monday.
Eye Joe on Mondays.
Monday nights in the summer.
You had Monday nights, teen night, for Cotton Eye Joe's because there was nothing to do.
Does anybody remember Banana Joe's in the old city? Sunday nights
I
was
do
that
remember
teen night because I
Sunday
went to
night.
that one. So there we go.
Sunday night, Banana Joe's.
Banana Joe's. So yeah.
Banana Joe's.
And Liquid Knoxville. Liquid
remember-
Knoxville had a teen night too, if I'm not mistaken. The old Liquid Knoxville.
Liquid had
at
a
church.
teen night.
Yeah.
Liquid had a teen night, guys.
Yeah.
But like, that's the thing, and you met so many people from different schools and different backgrounds. Like, you know, my buddies from Austin East, my buddies from Catholic, my buddies from, you know, I had a bunch of friends that went to Bearden, went to Farragut, a couple of guys that I know played at Pal, Central, had a ton of friends that went to Central, Corns, like, you would
That's
meet
how
up
you
with all
met.
these different people.
That's how you met. There was
That's how
no
you met.
Facebook or none of that crap.
Maryville.
There wasn't. Yeah.
You had to have a mutual friend through somebody,
Mm-hmm.
or you just clicked with somebody, and then next thing you know, your friend group just grew. Like,
Or you had a cousin that went to that school, and that's how you knew somebody, or something
like my cousin worked at Skate Town.
Oh wow!
And he went to Farragut, so I'll go hang out with him over at Skate Town. He's my little cousin, but we grew up together, so I go hang out there. I mean,
which is now a Carm store, just to let everybody know. It's now a Carm store, but I still see it as the skating rink, man. So, you know. Hey, you know what, Two-Pair? That also gets the skating rink when you were like in 8th grade freshman year, honestly, the skating rink. So, yeah, but
yeah, did it?
By the way, shout out to Tinian Reed, by the way. I'm going to get her on this show. She shouted a like to us on Facebook today, and I wanted to give her a shout. She's doing something with yoga right now, and shout out to old Tinian Reed, baby. So yeah,
man, Tinian is good people, man.
Yeah,
like
I haven't seen Tinian in a couple years. Her son, my son, played football together for a couple years.
Tinian has got this yoga thing going, man. Like, that's all I see on Facebook and Instagram is Tinian and yoga.
I'm going to tell you this.
Zumba. Is it Zumba?
It's Zumba. That's right. It's Zumba.
My bad.
But it's still like, you know, fun exercise, you know, for moms and, you know, women that just don't have the time, you know, if you're working, whether you have a full-time job and the kids. I mean, shout out to her. And I definitely want to bring her on so she can talk more about it. But she is ageless. I mean, she looks the same to me. Colette Boudreau. Shout out to Colette Boudreau. I mean, they just look the same to me, man. And look at us. Good God. Ugh. So shoot. I mean,
I know, right? Fading away, man. Fading away.
Coño. So, but yeah, I don't know. I just hope that these kids that are you know, are on their summer break are really enjoying it, safe but having fun, man. Because those years they don't come back, man. They're gone. It's like a vacuum. It's swept up. It's gone. It don't come back. So.
Biggest thing I can tell these kids is stop recording everything you do.
Oh God, yes. Just live in the moment. I mean, my goodness.
The conversations.
I mean. I was a recording mess, though, man.
But that was the broadcaster in us. I was too, man. I've got so many trips that me and my friends took that I have archived, and I'm sure a lot of them are like, James, that better not see the light of day. And I'm like, it ain't, man. That's just for me, man, just to reminisce and nostalgia. I would never ruin what we had back in the day. Those were precious memories.
I've got a hard drive of all my stuff in my rack.
Yeah.
That stuff, my kids are, Dad, can you show us stuff from my rack? No, you cannot see that.
Yeah.
They will look at their dad in a whole different light.
Yeah. I'll tell you this. Another shout out for the football team, just the hard work, you know, putting it in right now and so forth. You know, I said it on my post that I put on Twitter while I was working out, you know, do an extra push-up, an extra crunch, an extra stadium, an extra sprint, an extra rep, because the guy that's going up against you is probably doing 2 more. So you should do 2 more than them, you know.
Something I've always lived by in the gym is the reps don't count till it hurts.
That's right. And fight through the pain, embrace the pain, love the pain, honestly. So make it your friend. Yeah.
Or just have emotional damage like me, and you'll be really good.
Yeah, but you got quads the size of Godzilla, so there you go. So
not bad for a guy got everybody.
Like I said, guys,
Mm-mm.
it's just awesome, and I know that they're working hard, and they got something to prove. I mean, shout out to JP Peace, shout out to Parker Dubon, shout out to Wyatt DeRoche, all you guys that follow me on Twitter. Shout out to you guys, and I wish you all successful seasons. You know, like just everything. I mean, honestly, because
Hey, shout out to my man. Shout out to my man Jack Keith, man. Hell of an
oh,
interview, man.
absolutely. So I
Hell of
loved
an
it. I
interview.
loved it.
Hell of
So
a hell of an
yeah,
interview.
yeah, for sure.
Hey, I sent it to you. You want to just upload it to? We can upload it
I'm
to
going
the
to let me do that. I will do that after the show, actually. So because I have it on our Facebook Messenger that we have, and I can just upload it from there. It'll be very easy. So yeah, yeah.
I like that though. I think we'll get way more player interviews during the game and during the season. Like the content for Rebels with a Cause for this football season is about to be ridiculous.
It is going to be
It's
ridiculous.
like
Yeah, I mean
it's about to
we
be
are really
ridiculous.
going to analyze everything, you know, and so forth, and just show why this program is where it's at. And the fact is look, I tout that down there, 550 days and counting. Here's the thing: we're already the hunted. But what you need to do is continue to be hunters for trophies, hunters for banners, hunters for rings, because they know who you are and they're going to get a little bit more oomph and they'd love to knock you off. So what you got to do is, you know, just stiff arm them and say, not this year again. That's how you got to look at it, because it's our year again. It's our year till somebody says otherwise, and you're going to have to take it from us to do it. Simple as that. I mean, that's how it rolls. That's how it rolls. So, yeah.
It is, man.
You got some great
Like
teams. You got some great teams, great athletes, great coaches, but I put ours against anybody in this state from top to bottom, private or public. We'll give them a game. We'll give them a game. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm still loving the competition level across the county now. Teams are growing all across. It's nice to see. It's not like nobody's a guaranteed win anymore.
Mm-hmm. It's not.
You got to bring your A game for everything. And being the 2-time defending state champs, you're going to get everybody's A game.
Everybody's. Yeah. I mean, there isn't an easy game on that schedule, in my opinion. All those teams are worthy to make the playoffs. A lot of those teams did make the playoffs last year.
a lot of them
And
did make the playoffs.
and I'll tell you this, they're going to be wanting that gold themselves. They know where we've been. They want to be there, and it don't matter which classification they play.
You look at what at Bearden's schedule last year. Their first 4 games were, let's see,
Us,
Anderson
County, Alcoa.
You had the first 3 state champs in division.
Yes. Yeah, the 3A, the 4A, and the 5A to open up. Yes. Yeah. And not to mention, you had a contender for the 6A with 2 UT commitments that you had to play.
Bradley Central was a beast last year.
Yeah,
I went to the
I'm
first.
gonna say this though. The games that just really are gonna be indicative of what this season is gonna be is the home and home with Maryville and Central. Like I feel like that is the like games where West needs to just really put their stamp in at home, because both games are going to be tough games. Like
yeah, and you're going to be coming off of an emotional 2 out of 3 weeks against rivals Bearden and Farragut on the road. I mean, you know, so I've always said this, guys, and maybe you can agree or disagree with me. That game last year could have gone completely different, where Bearden should have won that game, but West found a way. West found a way. But my point is this:
busted coverage on the back and on the backside of the safety.
Yeah. Yeah, and maybe points not being taken by Bearden's coaches with a phenomenal kicker that can kick it from 50 yards. That you went for it on 4th down. I mean,
60. I've seen him.
Yeah. So I'm just saying that
Daniel Kenny's got a leg. That kid can boot a football.
And he's back for them this year. He's back for them again
so,
this year.
So remind our viewers at home how West won that game.
Oh,
just remind the viewers.
Well,
okay. We'll see what
I'll let you have that one, Shane. Go for it. So, yeah.
14 seconds left on the clock. receiver does a deep post, comes across towards the goalpost, beats the safety.
Cummins.
I
Yeah.
love that kid. I will never talk bad about that kid. That kid has a walk-on spot at UT if he wants to take it.
He's
I
a
know
stud.
that for a fact after talking with his dad during a game this year. But it was just he slipped behind him because Sam was an all-state DB, and just man, it was right there. And of course, I heard nothing else. Well, I heard everything about it a few hours later.
At the reunion. Yeah. I from my perspective, the minute that it was launched by Hunter Dance, I mean, Hunter and 6 just like got immortalized with that play. And Hunter threw it perfect. The O-line gave him just enough time. And, literally 6 just
The
had a step.
the
And
amount of games that I have seen between West and Beer between our playing days and when they renewed the rivalry over, especially over this last, I'll say 8 years, it has come down to the final play most games.
Oh, yeah.
I remember a couple years ago, I think this might have been my daughter's 7th or 8th grade year.
I know which game you're talking about. The Overdome in 2019. Yeah.
Front corner of the end zone.
Yep.
Oh my! I don't know how he caught that ball because I was on the other end and I'm watching like how.
Yeah. I mean like I said, that was just, I guess what I was getting at with that is that if West loses that game, do they go on the run that they're going on? Because I've always said the winner of the West Bearden game, that's a momentum game. That's game one, and you win that one.
That sets the tone for the season.
The hay bale goes. I'm telling you guys. I'm telling you.
Yeah. It's when the chatter starts when you win that game.
It lit a fire in the Bearden's ass because they gave Alcoa everything they had, and that still should have been a penalty.
They should have won that game.
When the lights went out, that should have been 15-yard penalty on back first down. And I truly believe with Bearden's run game at that time and their core receivers, they would have gotten in the end zone and finished that game off. And it would have gone like it did.
Yeah. It's going to be very interesting how that game goes, when it opens up the year, and hopefully I can get confirmation of where that game's going to be at. If it is Bearden, it needs to be at Bearden High School. The games are fun when they're played at each school, whether it's the one side at Bearden or it's the two sides barking at each other across the field. It's just unbelievable, the atmospheres of those games. And honestly, I miss it being on a Friday night. I understand the Saturday, but
I'm also curious, had that game been played at night, how it would have turned out, because that game was brutally caught.
I'm going to tell you this, and I'm going to look at this without the glasses on. I think if that game is played at night, Bearden wins. I think that West was very conditioned. Not saying Bearden wasn't, but I think West had just a little bit more in the tank, and it showed in that fourth quarter because West couldn't move the ball until the end of the third quarter on that Bearden defense. And not to mention, West was breaking in a lot of new starters. I get that, and they were trying to get their rhythm, but realistically, it was West's defense that kept them in that game just to allow enough for the offense to do what it needed to pull out a victory. And then they got better every week. Not saying Bearden didn't get better every week, but West got better every week and went 14-1 when people were kind of saying they should go 5-5 with that schedule and not even make it to the third round of the playoffs. And what did West do? They said psych, and they went and won another one. I mean, so yeah, it's unbelievable. Yeah. I don't want to rub this one in though, Shane, but that press box, you got West and everybody here. You got Packer and their group over here, and you got the Bearden here. And the jubilation that was from West or what have you. And we know those Bearden coaches. We know those they know us, and it's just like, good luck this year, but just the jubilation and the hugs that Carrie, me, Chris Smith, Coach Gone, everybody had at that moment, because we just were just like, well, they got us this year. And then it was like, No, they didn't get us this year. And that's the thing. You're going now. This series has always been a series of streaks for each school, and right now West is at 5 in a row. And if West wins again, that's 6, and that means that 3 different classes went through Bearden High School without beating the West Rebels. And on the other side, 3 classes went through West High School winning that varsity game.
Yeah, that's
So
what,
that's
that's
huge.
what that's what it was for us
That's huge.
with Farragut.
Yeah.
That's
Farragut
very.
beat us every year.
Yeah.
And then we sunk the ship last year. And I'm talking about, man, it was crazy loud in the press box. Obviously they're right there in their little area, but it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I just think that those games, no matter where the teams are at, Bearden, Farragut, and West should play in every sport just because. I mean, the Battle of Kingston Pike, honestly. So, for sure.
I think they do. I think they played each other.
Yeah, and it's just that the difference is that, Bearden and Farragut will always play because they're in the same region and they're in 6A. West being 5A, it's a little bit difficult, but damn, I mean, when you're playing a perennial contender every year, why wouldn't you want to know how that is to play and get better,
If we could all be as good as Farragut's baseball team, huh?
Oh my God! And shout out to their assistant coach getting promoted. The head coach went and is going to follow his son to Mississippi State, where he got a full scholarship. But 7 state championships for that Farragut coach, and big shoes by the assistant. But let me just tell you this: they always have talent there in baseball at Farragut. I mean, not that they don't have athletes in the other sports, but baseball and soccer has been the creme de la creme at Farragut High School, at least in the last 25 years.
Shout out to former Farragut Admiral Cal Stark, who has been knocking the ball crazy.
Oh my God, I was in love with that. I was in love with that kid over the weekend.
Yeah,
Man,
shout out to the UT baseball team. I mean, so listen, I was at the Mexican restaurant eating, and the game was on. And it's just like I look up grand slam, I look up home run. I mean, I'm like, they are absolutely just ballisting this team, just blasting.
I was getting a little worried. Was it Saturday night?
Sunday night or Sunday night?
Saturday when we were going through pitchers of like 9 pitches.
Oh yeah. I see what you mean. Yeah. So
me
and my best friend, we talk baseball all the time. He lives down in Florida right now. He moved down there to be with his daughter. UT grad, former Marine, but man, we were back and forth like, what's happening? Why are we burning through pitchers? What's going on? And then we close it out. So,
can I say this too? And again, the baseball team, it's up to them. They've got to finish the story. A couple of years ago, I thought that it was. I think, it's starting to open up, and I'll tell you why. Obviously they have to play the game, so you can't just look at it on paper, and you look at it and it's like, look, UT should beat Evansville in 2 games. It shouldn't even go 3. But I thought the same damn thing when Notre Dame happened a couple of years ago, and we all know how that ended. So realistically, I think that whoever is on that team, that's back this year, needs to remember that they need to take care of business, because here's the deal. On the other side of it, if you're fortunate enough to get to Omaha, there's going to be a very badass 8 seed in Florida State waiting for you. It's not going to be the 9 seed Oklahoma. Weirdly enough, they got bounced last night, and realistically, stranger things have happened, but it's starting to open up for UT, because the 5th seed, who, if you keep going through the brackets, 2 pair, like Arkansas is gone already. But keep going. No, what were you going to say, brother?
What I was going to say is that Florida State group got beat by that Duke group.
I know.
That Duke group beat them for the ACC championship.
They did, and Florida State's beatable, But I just think it's really there for Tennessee this year. It's just that the bats have to be there in Omaha and can't go cold like they did 3 years ago against Virginia on Father's Day. That was like one of the worst games I've ever watched. It's like we killed it in the super regionals, and it's like, where are the damn bats at, man? You can't go cold, and you have to have it all: pitching, defense, good moves, using your bullpen correctly. It's a hard tournament to win. I would honestly say the baseball tournament is probably one of the hardest to win, because at the end of it, when you get to the final, it's not even one game anymore. You got to take 2 out of 3 from the other team. And you've probably exhausted all your pitching at that point,
I
So
think
it's a hard tournament to win. So.
I think Tennessee's depth and with their pitchers is huge.
Yeah.
I think the defense they play is outstanding. And then the bats are going, it's a wrap.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's there for the taking. It's there for the taking.
You got
Christian Ward's athleticism. Like they were saying the other day, like he's like, what position could you play to make you like all? Yeah, or does he put Tony B on the mic every time? Because it seems like every time they start interviewing him,
they hit a home run. Yeah, I saw that. That was funny. So yeah, and he's right away raising his arms. It's gone. It's gone. So yeah. By the way,
I think that was the Cal Stark. I think that was the Cal Stark home run.
It was
when that had happened.
I bet it
was the Cal Stark one. Yeah.
By the way, shout out to that stadium. You talk about the changes. I mean,
man,
no offense, but it was really not a really nice place to watch a game in 2005. Now, man, that thing looks like a freaking palace.
I think they're adding another 2,000 seats too.
They have to. It's like one of the toughest tickets in town to get, and they used to have to give that away back in the day. No. I mean, that Todd Raleigh. That was a terrible hire by the UT. Todd Raleigh. That was horrible.
Todd Raleigh.
Good God.
Last time I took my kids to a game was back during the. Who's the coach we got from
Serrano?
Yep. Back in Serrano. I got free tickets behind home plate.
Do you want to know something really crazy? When we hired Serrano, I thought that he would do what doing now for. Like what I mean? Because he did it at his other. Yeah, and it was like such a disappointment that it didn't work out. But I guess it had to go that way to appreciate Tony. And what he's done for the program. So
Tony Serrano, man. So, I remember. God, I remember when they had to let Tony Serrano go.
Yeah.
It worked out.
He was a good coach, though. He was just like I didn't
Yeah.
have anything bad. It was just like I don't feel like we were competing at the level like Vitello got us as the best team in the nation.
Yeah. I mean, Delmonico had a couple of great years, too. Shout out to him and his boys and so forth, and his lovely ex-wife Barbara, who helped me get my first house. But literally, like honestly, I just this is a different level. This feels different. This is
really.
Yeah.
Really different.
Because I don't even think Delmonico won the SEC like as how Tony has. Like Tony's
no.
Like,
put it like this. Tony has won what, 2
SECs?
No, more than that.
He's got 3.
Has he won 3?
I want to say he's won 3 of the last.
Shane, look it up. See if we got that. I want to see how many. Yeah, because I mean they have made it exciting since 21. I know that much. So yeah, I mean
he's got
20. They didn't even have a season because of COVID.
Let's do this. Let's compare Delmonico and Vitello.
I know that Delmonico had 2 really good years. The 95 year with Todd Helton and R.A. Dickey and Scott Schreffel was on that team. That was 95. They lost to Cal State Fullerton that was just a juggernaut that year who beat everybody.
Was that Kotze?
Kotze, yep, Mark Kotze, who played for the Marlins and then the Giants.
Kotze.
Yep, the Cal State Fullerton Titans. And then in 2001, that was the Chris Burke team that just ran into a buzzsaw of Miami, who was just loaded and won the national title in baseball.
How good was Chris Burke back in the day?
Chris Burke was great.
He was a great baseball player. He was a baseball player.
Yeah. So they just, unfortunately, those 2 great years, I mean, it's one thing to lose, but you lost to who won the national championship, which got to count for something.
Yeah, it kind of count for something.
Yeah. But it's a hard tournament to win, man. It is a damn hard tournament to win. So
do you think it's harder to win the baseball or the NCAA tournament?
Honestly, I think it's the baseball just because, put it to you this way, I still think Connecticut would have beaten Purdue, but could you imagine Connecticut and Purdue have to play a 3-game series to see who wins it all, like over like consecutive 3 days or
Ooh.
whatever. That's
Ooh.
how you got to look at that. Like, I'm
Okay.
not,
Okay.
and so, but,
I didn't think of it like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, but here's the thing too, Pair. Years ago, when it really was just it came down to one game, I'd say the basketball was harder. I would just say that if it
Yeah.
came down to one game, basketball. But if it's 3 games, I mean, then baseball for sure and so forth like
Baseball is
that. So
tough though.
it is, it is.
Let's
So
just say this. The way Kavaris Tears is hitting the ball, the way Billy Amick is hitting the ball,
oh, Amick.
if those hitters along with more, you get the production just from them. And Stark, if Stark sees something that he likes and we've got runners on first and second, it's a home run.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, they just play really good ball. They
They
score
do.
to hit. You know, They got power behind the bats. I mean, it would be a damn shame if they don't do it. But again, there's also that thing
It's
about the
so
whole
hard.
number one seed too. Like, when was the last time a number one seed won the championship? It's been a minute. I know that
Oh
it's a
man,
lot of
it's been a
pressure
while.
behind that too when you're the number one overall seed when you rank them like that. So yeah, I mean,
That is tough to do.
it
Like,
is. It is. I mean,
that is
so.
really tough to do.
I'm just glad they're still playing because look at Arkansas. Just laid a complete egg. I know they had a couple of injuries, but to lose and you were the number
Oh
5
man.
national seed at home in Fayetteville, that's
And
embarrassing.
at home.
At home. You didn't even get out of the regional. You didn't even get out of the regional, man, honestly. So, yeah.
But my thing with Arkansas was they always had great pitching,
hmm And the guy got
but
hurt. That's what happened. So, yeah.
yeah. My thing with them was they had great pitching all the way through. But when your bats don't come alive,
Yeah.
you fighting an uphill battle. You
It's the
fighting an
truth.
uphill battle. Like, look what East Carolina. If you'd have told me East Carolina was gonna lose to Evansville,
Yes. I mean, it's unbelievable.
That was Tennessee's second title in 3 years. So,
Second title in 3
second
years.
title in
But
3 years.
Delmonico never did that. Delmonico probably never did that.
No,
hold on, I saw his stats and report.
I mean, that's pretty remarkable. And then here's the other thing too. Just think about this. Everybody that has an SEC baseball program made the NCAA tournament, including
Delmonico
Oklahoma and
won 3.
Texas. He won how many?
3.
3.
93, 94, and 95 SEC tournament champs.
Wow, 3 in a row.
94, 95 regular season champs.
Wow.
wow.
And you see, that was the Todd Helton, R.A. Dickey, Chris Freeman, all those. They had really good pitching those
Did
years.
they have Bubba Trammell on any of
Bubba
those
Trammell
teams?
was, I think, on 93. I think he was.
Okay.
So was Mike DeFelice on there too? Mike DeFelice.
Ooh,
Yeah,
Mike
Mike DeFelice went to
DeFelice.
Bearden High School. So yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
remember Mike
Oh,
DeFelice.
yeah.
Did he play for the Tampa Bay, the Rays?
The Devil Rays. Yep, he did.
Devil
So yep.
Rays.
But he
He played
started
with
at
them when they were
Bearden.
the Devil Rays.
DeFelice was actually a multi-sport guy at Bearden. He played football, DB, and he played defensive back football for Bearden, and then baseball. So yeah, when he was at Bearden, Mike DeFelice. So,
Wow.
yep.
That dude was a problem.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was.
I
Um,
just I
this
can't
is
believe
nuts.
Evansville beat East Carolina,
I can't
man.
believe
Like that,
Oklahoma lost at home too. They were the 9 national seed. Like, I mean,
they were
they
the
were
nine.
terrible. I mean,
They were
awful. I thought it would
I,
have been Duke that knocked them off. It wasn't even Duke. Duke got sent home in baseball.
and
So
Duke got sent home. And Duke won the ACC tournament.
I know. Like, you talk about it, they just laid a complete egg. Just laid a complete egg. So yeah. Yeah, the ACC has been, with the exception of Florida State and I think Virginia and NC State. Did North Carolina beat LSU? Did they finally get them? LSU was the defending national
Ooh,
champs, and I know
let
North
me
Carolina and
see.
them were battling Sunday night. So I don't even know because the winner of that was going to advance to the Super Regionals. Carolina was the home team, but LSU was their 2 seed and were the defending national champs. So.
Let's
All
That
right, let me
was one
pull
of the
it
more
up.
intriguing matchups of the regionals. So
Yeah, I'm just like, God, I cannot believe this. So let's see, FSU and Connecticut. Huh.
So it was Connecticut that knocked off Oklahoma then. So, interesting. They're not just a basketball school.
Oklahoma. Yeah, dang, that's crazy, right? UConn is not just a basketball school. It
Crazy.
definitely is. It's a huge basket. That's a factory.
North Carolina took down LSU.
All right, so there will be a new national champion in baseball, college baseball.
Wow.
West Virginia versus North Carolina, Kansas State, Virginia, UConn, and Florida State, Tennessee, Evansville. We could see Kentucky again. They got State, NC State, and Georgia.
Wow,
Clemson,
Georgia,
Florida,
Georgia,
Oregon. It's very SEC heavy. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 5 SEC teams.
Did A&M make it out of their regional? They were home. They were okay. So you got 5. So you got 5 out of 16 teams that are in that Sweet 16 right now. Honestly, that's crazy. And here's the thing: none of them are playing the others, so there's a good chance all 5 could get to Omaha.
Yeah, because it'll be winner to Kentucky. If Kentucky beats Oregon State, if Georgia beats NC State, if Florida beats Clemson, and Texas A&M beats Oregon, that final 4, that final 8 right there.
You'd have 5 of them. Wow. The SEC tournament deuce. So in Omaha. So just not Hoover in Omaha. So yeah, I mean that's crazy.
The way they hit in the SEC tournament, it just was like I feel like we're gonna seal the door. Like I just do. It's now or never. You know what I mean? Like
your top 3 seeds for the tournament were Tennessee, Kentucky, Texas A&M.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And they're still in it. Arkansas was 5th, Georgia's 7th, and yeah. So
I'm gonna say
Florida was kind of Florida was kind of a sleeper. They weren't in the top. They were in the top.
Yeah, Florida snuck out of that. Which region was that? The Nebraska region or something? I mean, they snuck out of there. So
that would have been the Oklahoma State one.
The Oklahoma State, that's what it was. Yeah.
Oklahoma State was the top seed.
Yeah, and they're gone. I'm going to tell you this. Here's my big upset for the weekend. I think Oregon State knocks off Kentucky. Oregon State is the last Pac-12 team standing in college baseball, and they have been a darling with 2 past College World Series championships. Just remember.
What about that one school that the school no longer exists, and
you know
like
what?
E2 or D3 school.
Oh, Birmingham, Southern or something like that.
Like the school no longer exists.
But they won the championship or what have you? Or
they're all going on to play it, or they won it, and they're in like D2 or D3.
Wow. What were you going to say too, Pear? You were going to bring something up there a second ago. I guess when I brought up the whole Oregon State last Pac-12 team, or
you know what? When you said that, we'd be remiss. Rest in peace, Bill Walton, man.
Oh God, yes. And we were just talking about him. Remember, wasn't it weird? We were talking about it on this show, just about how what's going to happen with ESPN Saturday night because it's no longer Pac-12 basketball, and Bill Walton used to call those games at 10 o'clock, and so forth, and just gone. I mean, just weird. So
it was crazy. Like just the dude was just an incredible human being. And
I didn't even realize he was sick either. That's the sad part. He hit it very well.
Either, man.
Yeah.
I saw a video the other day. It was him and his 3 sons playing basketball in their driveway.
Oh.
And this was back when Luke was like 12 years old.
Yeah, definitely want to.
He was already 60.
Oh God, yeah.
Definitely want to keep the Walton family in our prayers, man, because that is just a really. Yeah. When I heard the news, it's like you didn't want to believe it, just because like a big part a big part of your life and your existence as a sports fan comes around this guy and his figure because you got to see it from the time he played till the time that we're able to really recognize who our teams are and him saying his quirky stuff on the court and you just realizing like this dude is an iconic figure in the game of basketball because of how he played it. Like at the highest level, he's one of the greatest basketball players to have ever played in college. You know what I'm saying? And then in the pros, he was pretty damn good. Like he got a championship. Like
the abundance of riches that the Wizard of Westwood had at his disposal to not only coach Kareem but also Bill Walton,
Bill
that
Walton.
is just incredible. And then they ended up playing together for a bit on the Lakers together, Kareem and Bill Walton, if I'm not mistaken, and so forth. So I thought that they did.
No, they played against each other.
Oh,
Yeah,
did
But
they?
I don't. Yeah. When Bill Walton played for the Blazers and got him in the title in '77.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So they never
Then
played on the
played
Lakers together or anything like that. So okay,
No,
good.
Bill Walton and Kareem never got to play with each other because they missed each other at UCLA.
Yeah, they did. So yeah, huh? Okay. Speaking of basketball, we got an NBA Finals starting Thursday night between the
We gotta.
Mavericks, who I predicted correctly to be there, and they've gone through hell and back to get there. And now we've got a Celtics versus Boston series. What do you guys think about this one? So,
poor Grant Williams getting traded by both teams.
what? Who
And
did
now,
he piss off, man?
and
Who did
now,
he
and now
piss
he's back home in Charlotte
off?
with the
Oh,
Hornets.
they stink. They stink.
Let me get this right. He's a free agent. He goes to Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
Then gets traded.
No, he was.
Jay
I
Washington.
thought he got traded from Boston to
Dallas. Yeah.
And then got traded again.
Oh, because that was the Porzingis thing, wasn't it? Because that's how Porzingis ended up at Boston, if I'm not mistaken. Because Porzingis was on the Mavericks last year with Luka.
Porzingis was in Washington.
Was he? I thought he was with
Yeah.
Dallas with Luka.
I'm about to look up the trade.
He was in Washington.
Was he? Oh God, that's another team that was horrible.
Because remember that was Porzingis. That was Porzingis for Smart, and then they got. How did they get Drew? Porzingis. I don't know. They got
there was a trade. Yeah.
Then Drew Holiday for a Dame or something like that. It's crazy.
All right, here we go.
Here it is.
Grant Williams was traded, or when he was traded from Boston. It was a 3-team deal.
Oh God.
So it was the Mavs received Grant, a 2025 second round pick via San Antonio, a 28 second round pick from San Antonio. Boston received 3 picks. They got the 24 pick from San Antonio, the 25 pick, the pick swap with the Mavs, and a 2030 pick with the Mavs. And the Spurs received Reggie Bullock and an unprotected 2030 first round swap with the Mavs.
Did I hear Reggie Bullock? Did I hear that correctly?
Wow.
What?
Wow.
Man, I don't know who Grant Williams pissed off, but okay. So then what happened? So then what? Did the Mavericks get rid of him then afterwards, or what happened?
I'm looking up the next trade.
Oh my God. Reggie
All right, let's see. The first one was in July of 2023. Then this year was February 8th of this year.
Oh God, it was the trade deadline.
Let's see. I'm looking. Come on, give me the breakdown. I can't find it. Well, it says his yapping and lack of conditioning was his reason for being traded, which I could kind of see that. It was a swap for PJ Washington. Dallas Mavericks are trading Grant Williams, Seth Curry, and a protected 27 first round to Charlotte. Trying to find a full breakdown of it. It's not showing me everything. I can see the reason. Like, he's been very chippy with the mouth since he's been in the league, especially in those Boston days.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the other thing too is that it seems to me that the Mavericks made out like banshees with the PJ Washington acquisition. Honestly, so
Mm-hmm.
yep, yep.
How good is PJ Washington been playing?
I'm telling you, man. You know, he had. I know he wasn't what the Wildcats expected in his one and done year, but the talent was always there for him to make that leap by his senior year or fifth year, whatever this would be, if he was still in college. So yeah, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he was a solid player. Um, Yeah, you know, with a you know, with a gun to my head, I just like the Mavericks. We talked about it a few weeks ago on the show, and I was just like basically saying that the duo of Kyrie and Luca, I think, are better than the duo of Brown and Tatum. When it comes down to
Mm-hmm.
it, I mean, I could be wrong. They could prove me wrong. Maybe Tatum has something to prove because of what happened in the finals a couple years ago. But realistically, I think Kyrie's got something to prove, and I know Luca's got something to prove, and you know Brown
Yeah.
is Brown, and so forth. But I really think it's going to come up to those next players in the rotation, and I don't know if Porzingis will be back for the Celtics. I heard that he was going to try to give it a go, but you know he's kind of rusty. He hasn't played in a couple weeks, so that's going to take a minute. But realistically, PJ Washington and Derek Lively have been phenomenal for the Mavericks, especially down low, two pair. Honestly, I
Yeah.
mean, so
Yeah.
that's and I think that the Mavericks defense cannot be cannot be undersold. They have really brought it when they've needed to defensively and getting the rebounds and going down the court and making that three ball, baby. I mean, and that's what's shown to have beaten Boston. And maybe Boston can defend Kyrie and Luca a little bit better than the Timberwolves were able to, but realistically, when Kyrie and Luca are scoring 33 points each, that's just nuts. That is just nuts. So
Yeah. I felt like with the way Kyrie played and the leadership that he showed, it just was over from the get go. Like it just like they played with such a higher maturity level than what Minnesota played with. They let two games slide and they thought that they could win every game, every series from the time that they beat the defending champs in seven. It don't work like that. If
mm-mm.
you don't win the games you're supposed to win, it's gonna come back to haunt you in a 7 game series.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
like, well, that was a gentleman sweep.
No, I think it went five. Yeah, yeah, gentleman sweep. Yeah,
Went
five. Yeah,
5.
yeah, it went five. So kind of like the Celtics, they did a gentleman sweep too, didn't they? So each team won in 5 games, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, the Celtics swept the Pacers.
Oh, they did. That's right, they did. My bad. Okay, that's right, they did sweep
Yeah,
them. So okay, who did
yeah.
they? It was the
The
Cavs
Celtics
that
have
they
only
won the five. It was the Cavs
the
that they did a
Celtics have
gentleman sweep.
only the Celtics have only lost 2 playoff games.
Yeah, the Heat, that one game where the Heat couldn't miss, and then the Cavs in yeah, yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
But well, and
yeah,
that's the other thing too. The Mavericks have been road warriors. Like, I mean, I know that the game one's going to be in Boston because Boston has the best record, as you guys have mentioned. But I don't know. I mean, Shane O'Mac, what do you think, brother? What do you think about the series? Like, who would you pick or whatever? I've got the Mavericks in six, so I want to know what you guys think. So Mavericks in six, I got. So
you got Mavericks in 6.
in six. So yeah,
Ooh, that's tough.
yeah,
I've got the Celtics in 7.
it's a good pick. It's a good pick.
I got the Celtics in 7. I got the Mavs in 6.
Depending on who wins, pretty much, and so forth, like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
depending
yeah.
on who wins. Because I really don't. I don't have a dog in the fight but to
Betting on
to see Tatum winning his first, or Luka getting his first, and Kyrie getting his second.
Yeah.
So here's what's funny on this is the odds are for the Celtics.
Yeah, I saw that.
Everyone's betting on the Mavs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I just think the Mavs had a tougher road, and I think it really does come down to whose role players are going to step up. Because if the duos are a wash, then it's going to come down to whose role players step up. But
I think playoff Kyrie shows up.
oh, he's a bad dude.
He did not like his days in Boston. So
yeah, and you don't want him pissed off, because when he's pissed off, he's pissed off. I mean, honestly, he plays tough.
I think we're gonna really see why Drew Holiday is a valuable piece to a championship team if he can defend that, because that right there, Uncle Drew, that is a problem with the way he is playing right now. When you got one of the greatest players in the world quoting, saying he's so effing mad he's not playing with this guy. That's not his running mate anymore. When LeBron James comes out and says it, like, I mean, it just speaks volumes, man. Like,
there was a reason he was trying to get him to LA. He was trying to get him to LA with him. He was. So, listen, Kyrie Irving is on a redemption tour, and I just think that they like him. Yeah. I mean, he's likable.
I wasn't sure how the fit was going to be for him in Dallas, but it's paying off.
You never hear teammates say anything bad about Kyrie. They say he's a wonderful teammate. But the media was attacking this dude over everything till it got to the point of, you know what, I'm gonna fight for my man Kyrie. The more that got said about him, and you know, we done came to his defense many a time. But I think what was going on before with Kyrie, we didn't even have our show yet.
No, we didn't.
We didn't.
Yeah.
We talked about it, and I was like, hey, man, like, I don't think, you know what I'm saying, Kyrie did anything wrong with a lot of stuff. Like, I'm kind of glad, like, you know, he had to go through all of that, because people have a deeper appreciation for him. And it's like, they didn't have that same appreciation for him in Brooklyn, in Boston. Like, I didn't have that same appreciation, because this dude is a wizard with the basketball.
He is. I mean, the ball handling and what his dad taught him, Dedrick, you know, when his dad played in the Australia League and so forth. I mean, I just know this is that Kyrie hasn't had the easiest life. He grew up in New Jersey. He lost his mom at an early age. You know, he's always had a lot of things he had to overcome. And he even said in the interview, he was very professional afterwards when they did finally win against Minnesota and close that series out. He said, listen, I don't have any ill feelings there. There was just some bad things going on at that time. I lost some people during that time, and it's now and so forth like that. And you can't fault the dude for that. We know the truth. He's going to be out there for blood, and he wants to show, you know, it could have worked, but it just wasn't in the cards. Now it works. And realistically, did anybody see the trophy presentation? They had to get him up front. He was in the background. He wanted his teammates to take front and center. He wasn't the one up front. He wanted Luka and those young guys to have their moment, honestly. And they had to get him up front to get Ernie to interview him and so forth afterwards. So, yeah, during the trophy presentation. So, but
that was pretty cool, man.
Yeah, I mean, he likes his teammates and they like him. So, and Jason Kidd, shout out the kid. Oh God, great coaching job.
We got to keep inside on the inside.
Yeah, inside.
We got to keep inside the NBA on TNT. We have to keep it.
I hope they reach a deal. I hope they reach a deal, man. That's
inside the NBA.
Yeah.
It's the best.
Basketball won't be the same without it.
It won't. I
That's
mean,
how
that's
the
what I'm saying. We
NBA
have
going.
watched TNT Thursday basketball since we were little kids, honestly, like 94, 95 type stuff.
Ernie is our uncle. Like we've grown
Yes.
up with this guy. Like
Hmm.
we've wanted to become in the broadcasting field because of Ernie.
Hmm.
Like for
And the
me,
players that
he's
are
one of
on
my
there,
guys. Like
the
I,
players that are on
I
that set
think Shaq
literally
took a
were
penny for the
playing
rest of my
on
life.
there. Yeah. Yeah.
they
I
have
mean,
some of the best players to have ever played are
yes.
on this show. Charles
Yes.
Barkley, an MVP Hall of Famer.
Hmm.
Shaq, an MVP Hall of Famer. Kenny the Jet Smith, a two-time NBA. Like
And
that's
NCAA champion winner with North Carolina. So, I mean,
he
come
got an
on now.
NC. Hold
I
on,
think
he
he
didn't get
did.
one at NC.
Did he get one in
Nah,
82? He got one in 82, didn't he?
nah, he
No,
wasn't on the '82 team.
he wasn't. Oh
Nah,
man. Was he on the
nah.
84 team that fell short to Georgetown or what?
He's not on the '82 team.
He's not on the 82. Okay.
No, that's like no, because he's younger than Mike.
Then he was on the 84 team that didn't win, that lost to Georgetown, I think. So,
Here we go. Kenny's highlights. Two-time NBA champion with the Rockets, NBA All-Rookie First Team, consensus First Team All-American '87, First Team All-ACC in '87. No national
Yeah,
championship.
no. Oh, so he
yeah.
was in the late 80s then. Okay, gotcha. So, all right. Okay. God, I thought he was part of that group earlier. So, damn. Mm.
Yeah, 'cause
Man,
his rookie was '88. So
Kenny Smith was a hooper though. Those
Yeah.
Rocket teams, Kenny Smith was so good, man.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
about
People
the
don't
time.
realize how good bro, Kenny Smith was in the dunk contest and the 3-point contest during All-Star weekend.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
The dunk,
Yeah.
the
Like he
dunk
was a
contest
hell
is
of an
also
athlete.
appeal.
Oh
I
man.
will say this, by the way, like, regardless,
Mhm.
I want as much basketball as we can get. I want it to go 7 games because if one team's better than the other, I feel like we get cheated. I'll never forget how good that Lakers Kings matchup was, even though there was controversy after the fact. The fact that it went 7 games between Sacramento and LA, that might as well have been the NBA Finals because unfortunately the Nets were no match for them, and the Lakers swept them in the finals, and it just felt like the finals were a joke that year of 2002.
That's got fallen top three conspiracies of the NBA.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a horrible
God, that
finals,
Kings team.
bro.
I loved that Kings team, guys.
I
I
love
just could
that
not
Kings
believe
team
how they
too.
could not they did not win that series, honestly. I mean, they were unbelievable all year. If you watched all 82 games and those other playoff series, they were just phenomenal. That group.
I thought it was their year. I
It
ain't
should
gonna
have
lie.
been. It should have been. So, yeah.
But it's just like that that Kobe Shaq thing was real.
Hmm.
And we look at all the titles that were even won, like Tim Duncan got a lot of titles in this Kobe era people talk
Hmm.
about. And no disrespect to Kobe and Shaq, or none. None. Like, but Kobe and Shaq had that 3-peat. Tim Duncan, they did it for a consistent amount of time
Hmm. Yeah,
too.
they what, like, what, 5 in like 10 years or something like that? Like,
Something
it's
like that.
craziness. I mean, they were always
Yeah,
in the conversation. That's the thing,
they were.
And those
They were
Western
in the
Conference,
conversation.
those were some battles back then. Dirk with the Mavs, Steve Nash with the
Mm,
Suns. I mean,
mm.
you earned it if you came out of the West back then,
You
man. You
earned it
did.
if you came out of the West.
Yeah, you did. So
Like you think of those Phoenix teams that never got to a
with
final.
Amari Stoudemire and all them, I mean, that's just nuts. I just still can't believe that. So yeah, I mean, yeah. Real quick, I wanted to touch on it, by the way. My Florida Panthers in the Stanley Cup Finals. I'm sorry, your Stars just fell just a tad short, but they had a hell of a season. I'm going
I
to say
can't
this.
believe it.
Yeah, I'm just going to say this, by the way.
Edmonton,
Has anybody?
Edmonton.
Yeah, well, I think that Has anybody been on Twitter to see
Yes.
the oil cans that were around the world that helped win that series for
Very
Edmonton?
nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Very
I'm telling you, I'm a Florida Panthers fan. I think we're going to do it this year. I've got the Panthers in 6, just to let you know. But here's the deal. If those cans come out, I ain't feeling good. I ain't feeling good about it, man. Two pair. That's another. Two pair. That's another.
I opened mine up the other day to that. I was like,
But
whoa.
here's what I will say.
I liked her.
If Edmonton wins
Yeah.
that Stanley Cup and it's in Canada,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
oh man.
When
Like,
was the
you know,
last time a Canadian team won? Montreal, or who was it? I mean,
if it was Montreal, it'd have been 93.
yeah.
Shane,
I'm
who
pulling
was
up
the
now.
last
I mean, not
Canadian
Calgary.
team?
I mean, because what is Vancouver, Calgary, Winnipeg, Toronto? Maybe the Maple Leafs won it in the 2000s sometime. I remember the Maple Leafs had a good team one
The
year.
Winnipeg doesn't have a team anymore, do they?
They don't. The Winnipeg. Yeah, I was just
Yeah.
trying to think of all the
Yeah.
times the teams have
Okay.
gone. The Canada, because Winnipeg's now Phoenix. They moved to
Ooh.
Phoenix. So
All right, y'all ready?
Winnipeg became
1993.
it was the Canadians.
Montreal.
It was the Canadians.
Montreal.
I thought so.
Rah.
I mean that you're
Rah.
right. You're right.
I
Two
thought it was
pair.
Patrick Waugh. I thought it was Patrick Waugh in that group.
Yeah.
Because you know what? I can't remember anybody else on that team.
No.
All
I
I
just
can
remember.
is Vidoli.
Didn't they beat? If I'm not mistaken, Montreal beat. Was it the Rangers they beat that year, or was it the
The
Kings?
Kings.
Wayne
They
Gretzky's
beat the
Kings.
Kings.
They beat Wayne Gretzky's Kings. Okay.
Barry Melrose is the coach.
Barry Melrose.
Woo.
ESPN, NHL on ESPN with that long hair and that
Well, I haven't heard the name
mustache. I
forever.
mean, Barry Melrose. So yeah.
Bro, Barry Melrose looked like a G every time he was coaching.
He was
dude.
GQ, baby. He was GQ
He
on
was
that. So.
GQ, bro. Oh,
And he knew his
man.
stuff. Like
Hey,
he was always prepared. He had his notes. He was always right there, ready to go. So yeah. And he looked right at the
bro.
camera. It was like he was like, my number's 865. You know, like honest, like whatever the area code was, man. That guy,
Dude,
woo, he
how
was the playboy.
good was that those Kings teams with
Oh,
Gretzky and Rob Blake and Luke Robitaille? Like, bro, they were good.
yeah.
And they
You really
couldn't get
don't
it
hear much
done.
about them anymore. Like the Kings, like they have those really cool uniforms and stuff, but you never hear about the LA Kings. You don't. I mean,
Man,
so,
the Kings used to be the thing back in the
yeah.
day, bro. Like Gretzky for real. Like
Mm-hmm.
Gretzky came to LA and them had to be like that. I gotta get me a Gretzky jersey. I gotta get me one,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
But hey, for the Panthers, here's why. I tell you my Florida. You know, if Florida wins,
Mm-hmm.
it like y'all gotta have my man John Van Beesbrook and what was Joe Vanowski?
Oh, Ed Jovanovski and Scott Mellenby,
Yeah.
all them dudes. So
You
Niedermeyer,
gotta have
yep.
all them
Rod
dudes.
Niedermeyer, yep.
Yeah,
So,
you gotta
yep.
bring all those guys back.
They need to, man. They listen. I'm gonna just say this. Realistically, Shane, I want to hear your prediction on it, but if it's now or never for the Panthers, man. You got the shit absolute whipped out of you by the Knights last year. You got swept by the Avalanche years ago. Is the third time the charm that the Rats? Now you've got the home ice advantage. Do the Rats come out, or is it another slumber party in Sunrise? I mean, honestly, that's what I just hate to. It's now or never for the Panthers, honestly. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It really is.
I mean, what do you think, Shane? Is it the cans, the oil cans from Edmonton, or is it the Rats from Florida? The oil cans.
Those Canadians, man. I don't know.
Dude, they're the people that brought us Chris Stratus.
If there's fans like that, they're getting my pick right now.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say this much. That's the one thing that I was like. I was scared to death of the Stars between you and me, two pair. I thought the Stars would beat the Panthers. But for whatever
Mhm.
reason, Florida does really good against Canadian teams. I mean, I don't know but realistically, this ain't Toronto or the other teams that they've normally faced in the East. This is a really good Edmonton team. So, and they deserve to be there. But I hope the Panthers get it done. I've got the Panthers in 6, so I'm going to stick to that. And I've got the Mavs in 6. But I would not be disappointed. I just want as much sports as possible over these next couple weeks. So
I think
that's
I think I'm gonna go Panthers. I think they got the better chance.
yeah,
Who I'm going with.
yeah.
I want
I'm
to see the
all for the
Panthers.
Oilers.
I want to see the Panthers win in 7, so they win in Florida. I want to
I
see them
like
win
that.
in Florida.
I like that. Well, can I just
But
throw this out there too? There's
mm,
got to be some hot Floridian chick that can counter that with her can. I mean, I don't know, some Dominican babe or something like that. I don't know. So shoot.
It's going to be a battle up in the stand. Have your cameras
duh,
ready.
now you can.
I'll be watching Twitter through all the finals.
Oh God, yes, God, yes. And you know what? She was proud of it, and there should be more people like that. I salute her, whatever her name is. Honestly,
As I've been scrolling through here, she's been offered a contract for certain content.
oh, I bet. Hey, just put her near the Florida Panthers bench. They'll lose every game or whatever like that. So, I mean, honestly. Oh, man.
Mm.
Yeah. What about that pancake breakfast on Saturday, guys? I'm looking forward to that and seeing the team and the players and everything like that. We're getting close to the end of the show, and I just hope that we get a good turnout on Saturday or Saturday morning.
Man,
So,
I hope we do too, man. I really
I
do.
think it'll be a good turnout. I think it
yeah.
will.
Shout out to my guy, number 45, Davis Neely, representing my number 45. So I got something for him on Saturday. So from the Freeman family contribution. So yeah, I'm excited. So yeah.
It's like a tradition that each year who gets the 45.
And he's actually now had it 2 years in a row. To be honest with you.
That was my cousin's
Oh
number
wow.
at Farragut and at Tennessee.
It's a good number. That was my dad's number, and then that was my number. And Britton Leach wore it. So I mean, there's been some good
Britain
dudes that have
Lee.
worn it. So yeah.
Man.
Yeah,
Britain
I'm
Lee.
waiting to find out what number my son gets this year. He couldn't get my number because the 8th grader picked it. Couldn't get his mom's number because an 8th grader picked it. So he went with 24, 6, and 8.
Okay.
So curious what that jersey number is going to be when we get them in a couple weeks.
You have to keep us updated on that. So
Yeah.
Shane, what is the so we got the cake picked out. What are your plans for Friday, brother? Honestly.
Friday, taking the day off. We're going to go do a little side work, go make some money, doing some network programming on some smart switches and panel. Go make a little extra money up at a cabin, and then really just enjoy the rest of the day with my kids.
That's awesome. That's the best present, man.
If they don't forget, when my son heard y'all tell me happy birthday, came down, so it's like, today's your birthday, Dad? I was like, no, you got 3 more days. My kids, I love them to death. I will sacrifice my last breath for them, but these kids forget when my birthday is.
Let me tell you something. I don't know about you guys, but if I forgot mama or dad's birthday, I'd get the whipping of whippings. Like we even when I didn't have any money, I'd go to the dollar store and get them some little thing when I was a little kid, and I'd even make them a card out of like paper and write in it. You know what I mean? Like I had to do something for my mom and dad every year, man. Every year.
I haven't actually celebrated my birthday since 2021.
Wow. Is it just because of work conflict or what? Like,
yeah, everything else that's been going on. Girl I was dating at the time, like she treated me to a full body massage, came home to fully cooked dinner, kids made cake, bought me presents, all that stuff. And after we broke up and everything, I haven't celebrated a birthday. Like my oldest one had some stuff going on, so she was gone, but she would call me when birthday rolled around, just kind of tell me happy birthday. But we haven't celebrated it since I turned 37.
wow. And that was like right after COVID then. That was 21.
Yep.
So, wow.
Yep. I remember coming home from work that day because I had to work that day. And Well, yeah, my birthday thing was on Saturday that year. And I already knew that I had massage coming. Like, hey, what's your plans? You got to be here at this time. Everything's covered. Came home nice and relaxed. Picked out every single thing that was wrong with my back. And like, she knew exactly where all my, like, everything was tight in my back. Like, I was perfectly picked out. Like, I was like, holy crap, like, you really know where I'm stressed at. Daughters made like these handmade gifts. So did my son. Like, it was probably one of the best birthdays I've had.
That's awesome, man.
At that time, the 37 years of life I had.
Yeah.
Then, like, this year, my daughter's already called me up, like, hey, like, she couldn't remember the cake for some reason. She's like, I want to make sure I'm right on this. I'm like, you've been making it every year for I don't know how many years now. But my middle one, she's like, Dad, we should do, she's like, what are you doing on Friday? Like, I'm taking the day off. I got some stuff to go. She's like, we should go to Dolly. I was like, yeah, Friday would be a good day for that. You know, it's a really important day in our lives. And she's like, why? I was like, already? I was like, what day is that? She's like, the 7th. I was like, did that day stick out to you for any reason? Like, oh, it's your birthday. I'm like, it's like, don't let me forget your birthday. You remind me months ahead. Yeah, this is what I want. This is what I want. My kids' birthdays were so close to Christmas that we either go big on Christmas or we go big on birthdays. All my kids are 6 weeks within Christmas.
That's crazy.
My oldest one is December 19th. Then the next one in line is my son on January 27th. 6 days later is my middle daughter on February 2nd.
Oh, wow.
So it's either I go all out on birthday and we just celebrate Christmas and do our thing, or you all get Christmas and your birthdays are.
That's cool that she has a Groundhog Day birthday. Like that,
Yeah.
I've never known anybody to have or know of somebody within my realm. That's cool that she was born on February 2nd. So yeah, I have birthdays all around that day, but not that day in particular.
I joke with her in the mornings on that day. I'm like, all right, so are we getting winter or spring soon?
I'll tell you one thing, that the groundhog was right, because after that horrible snow in January, it was very mild after that. You know, I
It
mean,
took forever for that. I was working in Oak Ridge during that, and it took forever for that snow to melt out there.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this, man. I'm sure you all hear it outside your house. It has been raining cats and dogs for hours, it feels like today. It's just awful. We lost power at work and everything. It put me an hour and a half behind. So it was just nuts. So, yeah. Well, guys, let's wrap it up. I want to sing happy birthday to Shane. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, to you. Happy birthday to our Shane O'Mac. Happy birthday to you.
Appreciate it, fellas. I appreciate it.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I hope it's a great one, man, with the kids. That's the biggest blessing of them all. And if you can earn some extra money on the side, have at it, brother. Honestly. So
yeah, I'm about to go make my whole paycheck in one day. So
there you go. So there you go. Well, two pair, like always, we're going to end it with that W. Pancake Breakfast Saturday. We'll have a great show next week, as always, and close us out like you always do, brother.
Hey, man, love, peace, and chicken grease, man. It's Rebels with a Cause. And, man, you know that clock don't stop until what?
The clock hits zero. That cause don't stop till the clock hits zero, baby.
Zero.
So that's it. Love you guys, man. And be good to each other. Treat everybody good. Be rebels with a cause, even if the clock has hit zero. We out.
Even if the clock has hit zero.